while screwing around mixing chemicals today. Just pumping things in today, not messing with the jugs anymore. Makes filling up a lot faster. Killing off cover crops today. This is reclaimed cold ground that's going to get no-tilled into beans. Got a pretty good cover crop out here. Well, got a little over 300 acres sprayed. Buddy's out there working dirt, and I'm headed back home. It's starting to sprinkle, so it's probably a good thing I quit spraying. I had about a 20-minute drive home from the field in this tractor, so hopefully it's not raining over there yet, but if it is, it's not the end of the world. But it's not going to rain very much, just a little bitty sprinkle. And this should be over in about 10 minutes, judging by the radar. So after a morning of welding, cutting, torching, and hooking come-alongs to places come-alongs aren't supposed to be hooked and bending things back out, this thing is lined back out. Got a brand new row unit there, brand new closing wheel assembly on that one. I think everything's straightened back out except for that cylinder. We have determined that that hydraulic cylinder that broke, which you can see right there, is not the factory cylinder. And that is what caused all this. It was extending it too far when it was folding. It goes from that to that. It was going a little bit too far, got things in a bind, and that's what broke everything. So the factory cylinder is ordered. Today is Sunday. That's not gonna come until Monday, or actually, no, they're not going to ship it until Monday. Should be here Thursday. So in the meantime, I can plant with this. I just won't be able to fold it. So I'm gonna jump across the road, do that 99 acres, do 38 over there and 17 over here. And I can at least get that planted without folding it. I can fold it by hand, but it takes two people. One person has to push on it and turn it around, and the other person has to be in the tractor. So it's gonna be a two-man job folding it, but we're gonna get by and get some things planted regardless. It sucks, but it is what it is. We will be able to at least get something in the ground. So not as bad of a breakdown as I thought it was going to be. The thankful thing is that that center bearing in that post is still good. We didn't get it too, so that's a plus, because that would be about a $15,000 repair if that were to go bad. There's about 17 acres in this field. About to wrap it up. We got maybe 2 acres left or so, but it's going pretty good. Putting these about an inch deep, right at 150,000. So these should be fairly decent beans. This was all variable rated with fertilizer, and it was spread on a little bit of the hot side, so plenty of fertilizer out here. Getting them planted pretty early, and I really like this variety, so shouldn't be out of the question to grow some 75 bushel beans out of here. We'll see. All depends on the weather. But going pretty good. Now that I've got everything lined out, I am absolutely loving this planter. Planting about 25 acres an hour right now, which compared to that little 6-row, night and day difference. So I'm very, very happy that I bought this thing. It's gonna really speed things up this spring. So as you can see, my new lights, put those in today. They are plenty bright, and I need to switch them around because I got the floodlight and spotlight mixed up. I need the spotlight on the outside and the floodlight on the inside. You know, I love this time of year. because you can do the absolute best job you know how to do, and you can plant in ideal conditions, you can do everything just right, but it's really in good faith and up to Mother Nature that those bins are busting at the end of the year and you have a good year. It's a whole lot of money, it's a whole lot of time to invest in a crop, but honestly I wouldn't want it any other way. You can't really see it because I shut the lights off. Didn't want to blind everybody on the highway, including that car coming. Taking a little break, walking to the house, eating some dinner, and then I'm gonna head back out there and do some more. Good morning, everybody. Enjoying another day being quarantined. Knocked about 20 acres out this morning so far. Planted the end rows of this field last night. It's a 99-acre field, and hammered down, making a little dust, and really good ground conditions. Running about 5.8 right now, so scooting right along, 30 foot wide, and knocking the acres out pretty dang quick. Now I don't want to get in too big of a hurry because we've got some cold weather coming. It's going to get down to 35 about 2 nights in a row, and we've got a cold front moving in that's going to drop temperatures quite a bit. It's going to be almost 80 the next couple days, but after that the lows of the night is really going to drop down, so not getting in any hurry. These will take a little bit to get up, but they'll definitely got a really good chance of making it. But these early planted beans, they just, I don't know, the growing season, getting them out early, they always yield better. It seems like, I mean, of course, no 2 years are the same, but typically the earlier these beans are planted, the better they're going to do. So one of the reasons that I am planting a lot of this worked ground, I talked about the temperature a little bit. The ground that's been worked will warm up a lot quicker than ground that hasn't. So the no-till stuff, I'm holding off on planting these early beans. If it was warmer, I wouldn't hesitate to do it, but given that it is going to get a little bit colder, I think I'm going to stay in the worked ground now and hit that no-till stuff later on once it warms up a little bit. So just hopefully get these beans out of the ground a little bit quicker, being loose dirt and warmer dirt. So hopefully that's how that pans out. These long rows, smooth dirt, almost 6 miles an hour. I can't believe how much more ground I'm covering, which, yes, it's twice the planter, I'm covering twice the ground, but I'm just so used to planting with that little 6-row that I feel like I'm going too fast. I'm just covering ground too fast, but that's what I'm used to. So I don't know, got a lot more ground to farm this year, so I needed the bigger planter. But never covered this much ground in my life, but I've never covered it so fast either. So I guess that's a good problem to have. I guess that depends on what grain prices decide to do this year, but it is what it is, can't control them. Well, got this section of the field all wrapped up. I'm about to take a handgun to the monitor still, or throw it through the windshield. Not really sure. Well, that's a wrap on this field. We're gonna have about a 300,000 population back there in those corner rows. I'm overlapping a little bit, but not enough to shut my row shut-offs off. I've got half-width disconnects on this, so it'll shut off half the planter, but not worth leaving bare spots out there. I'd just assume overlap. But that's a wrap on this field, so I guess it's up the highway we go, and on to the next one. Shut up. Well, despite the odds, I got moved up the road with a cylinder that doesn't fold. We swung the thing by hand and locked it, and then ratchet strapped it down. That way it didn't fly open going down the road. A little bit shady, yeah, but we're planting again. So, plenty dry here, as you can see. So, I think there's about 33 acres on this side of the interstate, and I'm not gonna jump to the other side of the interstate yet. For one, it's not worked, but the reason I stayed off of it is it lays a lot more wet. It's actually a creek bottom. So I'm thinking, even though it is probably dry enough to go right now, that creek gets out all the time. So that'll probably be one of the last places I go. I'm a little bit gun shy on it because last year I ended up planting beans down there 3-4 times in places just because it kept flooding. But we also had a stupid amount of rain last year, so is what it is. But I don't think I'm gonna try that quite yet. It's plenty early still. That's not supposed to be there. I've got a cylinder leaking. Nice. It took some persuading, but I beat it off of that no-till coulter. Proof that anything's a hammer if you want it to be. Working on the last little bit of this field right here along the interstate. Got a bearing that's starting to act up back there on one of the press wheel or the gauge wheels, but that's not a huge deal. I'm pretty sure I've got one in the shop, and if I don't, it's not a big deal to go get one in the morning. It's kind of hard to record and turn here, but alright. And if anybody knows a trick other than putting a bullet through it of that monitor, how to quiet that thing down, that would be awesome. Look at all those hamburgers. I'm working this field, or I'm planting this field at a heavy angle. I'm going at about a 45-degree angle in the direction that I worked it. Before I started renting this farm, for some reason, this entire farm is just unlevel as all get out, especially on the hillsides. Like somebody's ran a disc on it that wasn't set right and they just ridged everything, but the whole field is just wavy. So every time I come up here and do anything whatsoever, I go at like a 45-degree angle, different directions every time. And it's gotten better, but it's still not perfect. I've only farmed this 1 year. Well, this will be the 2nd year. So I don't know what's going on here, but I need like a land plane or something to level this ground up. But I don't know. It's just very, very unlevel. Did I mention I hate that monitor? I'm gonna head back to the house, grab some dinner. I'm gonna shut this thing down for the night. Definitely do have a bearing or something screwed up back there, so just gonna grab the new assembly in the morning. Just to be on the safe side, I'm gonna go ahead and hook up to the bean wagon and pull it home tonight. It's not supposed to rain, but that's too much money to just leave sitting around. And the tarp on that thing is not at all 100%. So I need to clean my backup camera because I can't see a thing. I used to think backup cameras were stupid until I had one. Perfect. Like a glove. First try. Let's go. Now I'm just gonna make the assumption here that a gravity wagon full of 5 boxes of beans is probably not rated for a half ton, but it does it, so we're still gonna send it. Tilling dirt. It's working up really, really nicely out here. This is just corn stalks he's running through. That thing's chewing right through them. Chugging right along. Probably going about 6.5, 7 mile an hour right now. That's running pretty good. Chewing it right up. It's been a while since I've got to run this thing. All I've done is planted and sprayed, but rolling about 6 miles an hour, cruising right along. It's working up really, really nicely back there. So this field's about 15 acres. It's nothing big, but I don't know. I really wish I would have got brighter lights put on this thing, but I don't know. Spring kind of hit us out of nowhere, and everybody's kind of balls to the walls all of a sudden. And you know, it's only April 8th. It's really early for us, but the ground was ready, and a lot of us weren't. So it is what it is. I mean, we're making the most out of it. After the year we had last year, we definitely don't want to take any chances not getting things done. So I know there are a lot of planters running right now. I'm not quite bold enough to put any corn in the ground yet because I don't have pop-up or row starter or anything like that. And it's going to get a little bit cold, so I'm not quite ready to put corn in the ground. I'll probably give that another week or two, see what the temperature does, but after that, I will be going crazy. Well, this little tune-up job did a number on this thing, and the new fuel pump and injectors. This thing is rolling along 7 miles an hour. Like that landall's not even hardly back there. So I'm really happy with the way it's pulling. It definitely didn't pull like this last year, so tractor doing a real good job this spring. Moving fields again this morning. Got that ratchet strap special on there. I've got the transport pin in, so technically it can't come apart, but I don't know. I like having the ratchet strap on there just in case, since that cylinder's broke right now. Alright, well, we got switch fields this morning, and got the planter about half full right now. I am going to go ahead and try and no-till some of these, even with the colder weather coming in. I did shallow it up. I went from planting about 1.25 inches to somewhere between 3/4 of an inch and an inch. So these are a lot shallower. So hopefully they get up a little bit easier. But I don't care to put beans that shallow, but when the weather's right, I'd much rather put them a little bit deeper. But they should be fine. There is still some springs out here. I've got some water we're gonna plant right through. But overall, this field's really dry. This is the field I came and worked some washes in. And everywhere that I worked, I mean, that was some of the lowest ground where it washes. And it's bone dry where I worked it, so I don't know. Maybe I should have worked the whole field, but I really don't think there's any point, especially with beans. And the farmer that farmed this last year had a chopping corn head, so there's not much residue out here at all. That's something I'd love to have. I'd love to just put the calmer corn head parts on my corn head to basically make it a chopping corn head, but it's in really good shape right now, so if it's not broke, don't fix it. But it would be really nice to rebuild my corn head with all those parts. Lunch got here. It's not much today, just a couple sandwiches, but better than nothing. Time to fill up again. Well, minor setback. Blew a hose, so now the planter needs a bath because it's caked in hydraulic oil. And upon spending half hour, 45 minutes trying to fish that hose through the frame, I got fed up, took a Sawzall, cut it off, and I'm gonna zip tie the new one to the outside of the frame, and I'll run it back inside the frame later on. But for right now, I wanna be planting. Today has not been productive. I've blown 2 hydraulic hoses within 15 minutes apart. One of them had an oddball fitting. Couldn't find it. Finally got one. It's about 8 o'clock and I'm just now back together, so I might have gotten 20 acres planted today. By the time I got people moved around and got this thing going and waited on seed, and not been a productive day. We got rain moving in tonight. We've got cold temperatures moving in, so I'm gonna finish this 40 acres tonight. And I think I'm done planting for a while. I'll probably do some more spraying if it warms up a little bit, and definitely work a lot more ground. If it doesn't rain a lot, work more ground. And I got some stuff on this planter I've got to get fixed. That is just patched together right now to get me by, but I don't know. It's not been a good day, not been a productive day. But if it weren't for bad luck, sometimes I wouldn't have any luck at all. So it is what it is. We're rolling again. But I'm really pleased with how this field looks. I mean, this corn residue is just getting sized. I'm planting at an angle here. You can see the corn rows, and then you can see my bean rows. I'm planting at a 30-degree angle or so, but it's covering pretty much all the beans. I am putting them a little bit more shallow. There's a few here, but this is the lower end of the field too. It is a little bit wetter down here, so I'm gonna have a little bit more trouble closing things up. But I did get new LED lights on the back of this thing, and it is literally night and day difference. No pun intended. Got about maybe 20 acres left, so gonna go fill up one more time. Got a couple of rows look like they're petering out, so probably gonna throw about a bag in every box, and that should be pretty close. That'd be about 20, yeah, that'd be really close. So I wanna go get her filled up and go from there. I've decided that these new lights were money well spent. I don't think the camera quite does them justice how bright they are, but they light up the field. I can see my pickup way down there. Unfortunately, I'm not lucky enough to have these beans in a seed tender. These are the last dicamba beans that I'm going to be planting for a while, and I'm switching to enlist, so finishing off with bags, that way the tender is empty. And it's not. It's got enlist beans in it right now, but these should finish me off, and then I'm going to get all my enlist beans planted, and then I'll switch back to dicamba after that. Well, that was a long, hard battle, but that's another 50 done today. Not the most productive day, but you have those days. Thinking about jumping across the road tomorrow with the sprayer and burning that down. A little over 50 acres across the road there. Going in corn this year. It was beans last year. That was obviously corn last year. Going in beans this year. But I don't know. Wouldn't mind getting it burnt down. Start spraying some corn ground. I'd say here in a week and a half, I'll definitely, temperatures permitting, weather permitting, be planting some corn. So I'm well over half done planting soybeans. Well, not well over, just at half done with soybeans. It's a good little start. I'm out here picking up hitchhikers tonight. The two-wheel drive 7140 and a Kraus Landsman, getting with it. Looks like this is working up really good out here. Just came to pick him up and give him a ride back to his pickup before I go home for the night.